Okay, today's video is going to be take fuel out of your main tank of the boat to avoid to have all these cans, which is very dangerous to have a lot of these cans on board to fuel up the generator. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to add safely one of this fuel line kit so I can take fuel out of the main tank of the boat to avoid having all these cans on board, which is not the safest way to have fuel on board on the boat. Let me show you. All right, if you see right here, I carry 3, sometimes even 4, depends how long I'm going to be out there. And most of the time when I'm out there off the grid, I am running out of fuel for my generator, which is very important to have fuel for my generator because that's how I'm going to keep all my batteries and my fridge running. So now to avoid to having all these cans, by adding this fuel kit, and I'll be connecting the fuel line kit right here. And let me show you the diagram. All right, in this fuel water separator, there's a fuel in from the tank here, and there's another fuel in cap here that is already capped, and the fuel for the engine is coming out of this connection. And this is another fuel out cap here, which this is going to be the one that I'm going to add my fuel line kit right there to this one here. Usually in the fuel water separator, there's 2 fuel in and 2 fuel out, which is awesome because that way I don't have to cut any hoses, existing hoses on the fuel tank of the engine. So very safely, I'm going to add this adapter right here, and I'm going to leave this one cap. So once I place this one here, I'll be able to safely take fuel out of the fuel separator, and I'm not going to disrupt the one for the engine, which everything's going to stay the same. So that's going to work out perfect. Let me show you how I'm going to start doing this. And like I said, this adapter is a 3/8, and I'm going to use this 3/8 fuel cutoff. And this shut off valve is going to be perfect because that way I don't have any fuel leak out of the fuel line kit here. And another thing here, on the fuel line kit that I got, it has a crimp connection. I also got a crimp connection kit here that has all the measurements. And what I like about these crimp connections is that once you crimp them here and crimp this real tight here, it's going to be a perfect seal on the connection. I'm going to show you how this crimp works. Once you put the hose through here, you put this fitting into the hose, and once you crimp, look at that, it will crimp really good into the hose. Of course, I'm showing you this one was the larger one, but the one I'm going to use is smaller, just like they did here at the factory on this hose, and you get a perfect crimp on that hose. You're not going to have no leaks. First thing we're going to do is remove this cap here, but before, let's place a napkin under it because a little bit of fuel might come out of here. All right, there we go. Yep, a little bit of fuel is coming out, as you see. But got a napkin here, so should be fine. Okay, got the cap out. All right, to prevent this from leaking, I'm going to use this Loctite thread sealant, and I'm not going to put it way in the front here. I'm going to put it more towards the back here in the middle because we don't want this material to go inside the fuel. Now I'm going to thread it in. It's going to squish some of that thread sealant. Okay, that's perfect. Now we have to follow the arrow here on the priming pump. So this is where I want to connect it to the fuel water separator. So that means that I'm going to have to cut right about here. And this is where the crimp is going to go. I'll put it in before I put it into the adapter. So now I'm going to put the fuel clamp right here, and I'm going to position it right into the adapter and press it in. And I'm not going to crimp it too much because it's already so fitted, it doesn't need a lot of pressure. If you look at it, it's crimped perfectly, and that hose is not going to go anywhere. All right, so for this other side, I'm also going to get another clamp here. It's very fitted, so I don't want to put the clamp afterwards because it's really tough to put it in. So this will be open, close. Yeah, it's perfect. Look at that. It's not going anywhere. All right, so now when the generator is running out of fuel, I can get a small can of fuel, or I can just come here, open this up. All right, I'm going to let the fuel water separator get filled up now. All right, in order for this to work properly, you have to place the priming pump on a lower position. If you place it high up here, it might not work because you're trying to suck fuel from the filter. But if you place it in the down position, it works perfect. All right, so it's very important to prime that ball on a lower position because that's going to be the best way to prime it and get it running. So right now, all I have to do is, when I need fuel, either I'll get the generator or I get a fuel can, open this up, start filling it up. It goes pretty quick. You can see the stream is pretty good. I should get full quick. Close the valve. So all I have to do now is put my fuel line here. It's not going anywhere. So even with the engine on, I'm able to take out some fuel with no problem. It doesn't do any effect to the engine. All right, so now my secondary fuel line to take out fuel for the generator is already done. I no longer need to carry all these cans, maybe a small can to fill up so I can bring it to the generator. If it's mounted right up here, I can just fill up the little 1 gallon can here. And now I eliminate all these cans that they take a lot of storage. Now I don't need to have them on the boat, and then the boat is safer now. So that way now I have unlimited fuel from the fuel tank for my generator, and I don't need to be rationing my generator because I don't have enough fuel. Usually when I go to the Bahamas, I will have 2 cans or 3, and I can go through a can in a day. That's 2.5 gallons. Having the generator running depends how hot it is and how much the batteries I need to charge. So I can use one of those cans daily. So if I'm staying 4 or 5 nights, this is not going to be enough. But now I can stay out there off the grid a lot more days with no problems on the fuel for my generator. All right guys, and I'll place the link on the fuel line kit and also the crimping tool that you're gonna need. And remember, when you're putting this on the fittings, you have to put this on the hose and push the hose in. Don't push the hose in and then try to slide this in, because this is not gonna work. It's very fitted. And if you have any questions, please write down below and I'll try to help you as much as possible. This is awesome to have in your boat, because now you can fuel up somebody else if they have an emergency, they have no fuel. That's another awesome option too. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and always navigate safe.